Hi everybody, this week the children have been adding and subtracting fractions, and so I'd like to show you how we do that, and then we've got a little game for you to play to help the children practice that. Let's start with adding fractions. I'm going to start with this problem here. 2/4 add 3/4. It can be really helpful to draw out the quarters so that the children can see what they're adding. So underneath I'm just going to draw one whole and split it into 4 pieces. I've split it into 4 pieces because that's what the denominator is telling me to do, and I've got 2 of those quarters. I'm just going to shade them in. And the same for the 3/4. It's helpful for the children to draw it if they're struggling to understand what 3/4 is really meaning. I've got one whole, split into 4 pieces, and I've got 3 of those pieces. And now I can add my quarters together. I've got 2/4, add another, add another 3/4. Did you spot the deliberate mistake? Add another 3/4, so altogether I've got 5/4. And the children have been learning to write this as either an improper fraction, like we have here, or a mixed number. We're going to do it as both. I'm going to draw again my quarters. I've got 5/4. So I need to shade all of these quarters in, and that will give me 4/4. And then I need to draw another whole, split it into quarters, and I've got 4, I need 5/4. Now I can see from my mixed number, I've got one whole, and 1/4 left over. That's adding fractions and then finding the solution as either a mixed number or an improper fraction. What about subtracting fractions? We're starting off with a mixed number here, and I'm going to draw out, just like I did here, I'm going to draw out what we've got. So we've got one whole and a third. I'll draw out that whole. I'm also going to have a third, which is a whole split into, always look at that denominator to see how many parts you've got overall. It's split into 3 parts. And I've got one of them. So I've got all of this whole and 1/3. And I need to take away 2/3. Now you can see the problem straight away. I've only got 1/3 here, but I'm supposed to take away 2/3. I'm going to have to crack into this whole. I need to turn this whole into thirds because I'm taking away thirds. So I'm going to split this whole into 3 parts. I've got all 3 of the parts because I've got the whole, and now you can see that I can very quickly take away 2/3. I'll take away that one, and I'll take away this one, and I'm left with 1/2. So my answer is 2/3. We've got a nice game for you to practice with your children, adding and subtracting mixed numbers. So there's a quick recap of how we do this if the children need to practice it on paper, but they might be able to do it in their head. And for our game, it's a game of pairs, effectively. You're going to need some resources, which are on pages 28 and 30. So just flick to the back here, and you'll find some fraction cards that you can cut out, and they've already drawn out the diagram